and we're going to go through the various newspapers that have made it today. A lot of papers have come through this Monday morning. And to join me to help me go through the papers this morning is Vivian Kailoko. And she's right here this morning. Hi, Viv.
Hi.
Yeah, how are you?
The energy.
No, I'm pumped.
Well, what's going
it's exciting. It's Heritage Month.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Vim Day. No be small. Yeah. No, yesterday I went to Jamestown.
Oh, yeah.
I went to the slave dungeons.
The slave dungeon.
Yeah.
How did you feel?
Again and again.
You were numb.
You know, every time I see this, I go through this experience because I've been through Elmin, I've been to Cape Coast, I've seen the different, dungeons and things. Every time I go through this experience, I can't believe that human beings are that wicked.
Did that to us.
That's always what comes to me. I can't believe that human beings can
It
be
feels
that evil.
unreal.
Yes.
It's so wrong. It feels
Yes.
unreal
Yes.
that
Yes.
it can never happen. It never happened.
Yes.
That's how I feel. It feels so bad that it feels so like probably we're in a dream and it didn't happen. It's so bad.
You see, so you have experiences like Liberia, you have experiences like Rwanda, but then this one, you see that investment of money.
Money was a deliberate
over years, building structures to do evil.
It was a deliberate thing.
Very wild, pa.
Very, very deliberate.
Yeah.
And I don't think the world has done anything to correct that that painful
that
part of our history as black people. And I don't think black people have also found a way to get perpetrators to really pay beyond the mere, they go to a conference which is being sponsored by these so-called people and say that, oh, we have to have reparations, we have to be, beyond that. We've not done anything. And actually, the slave trade still continues, but in a modernized way.
In many ways.
On Africa.
In many ways.
It's pathetic.
I saw a video.
That's what it is.
I saw a video last night, and a lady was lamenting how, not an African lady, I'm not sure where she's from, but she's definitely not African. But she was lamenting how people refer to Africa as poor countries. And she was saying that up to today, those who call us poor countries are still siphoning out of Africa billions of dollars every year.
And who is to blame?
And still.
Who is to be blamed?
Well, we are watching.
The Africans,
it is. As we did in the past.
It is, yeah.
As we did in the past.
You have your
watching.
minerals, you have your resources. Somebody comes from wherever, dictates to you, takes it away, and calls you and labels you poor. And you want to blame who? Nobody but yourself.
Crazy,
so we step up, we unite, and we make use of our resources, empower our citizens. Forget it. This is what we'll get. I mean, look at Ghana. We have every mineral you can talk about. We have every resource you can talk about. But look at our poverty levels. Look at our, incomes.
Insane.
Look at everything
it's
as a country. And we want to blame somebody. We're in a hurry to go to another person's country to build it. Yet, when we come back to our own and there are clear rules, we defy them. But when we go to the UK or the US, if they say stop at the traffic lights, you see the Ghanaians in a hurry to obey. But you let them come to Ghana. So we are to blame for all our problems. We should stop blaming others. So we have to set up. Anyway, I saw you yesterday. Moving around
I was enjoying.
through the buses,
enjoying.
as the caravan. Did you see the videos from the Volta region?
Yeah, I did.
With the MPs and all
amazing.
that. Amazing, right?
I saw Dumelo on the dance floor. I saw A+ on the dance floor. People were happy. They were happy.
Charlie, you can only get this on Heritage
I'm telling you.
You can only get it on Heritage Caravan. So those who felt they sold out, next time, move faster. Anyway, so I'll start with the daily graphic, very full today. It has the story of Parliament, so I'll start with that, and then of course I'll go to a bit of finance. 32 years on, Parliament yet to establish public interest committee. That is very problematic. And then this is a very good one coming from the Bank of Ghana, but still they kept too long in dealing with this. It says stop photocopying Ghana cards of customers. BOG warns banks. And then we're told T-bill rates drop as government reduces domestic borrowing. Sophia Ekufo questions policy on Ghana's extractive agreements. And then book on company law best practices launched. That's from Ace and Koma. Was launched last week, Friday, I believe. So those are some of the stories on the front page of the Ghanaian Times. If you take the back page, Ghanaian Daily Graphic. If you go to the back page, West African gas pipeline resumes supply, and then it has Medina hosts Regional Sanitation Day. It has a picture of the Greater Accra Regional Minister, Madame Linda Akwele Oklu, sweeping there. You know, this sweeping thing, certain examples and all that, we keep doing it, and the very stubborn ones are still not, you know, conforming. You know, there was a video from the Medina place that had the police trying to shut down a vendor's, you know. And if you listen to the narration from those who were there, the place stinks. And if you look at the gutter, choked with filth. The person was selling there. And when they were doing the cleanup, she couldn't be bothered. Still selling, with the smell and the filth and all that. But yet again, we go and buy. So if there's business for her, she'll continue. But if we all boycott at this place where you're certain is filthy, whatever, she'll sit up. So it comes back to the same thing. We are the problem. We need to solve our problem.
Then as the begs the question, the people, sometimes you will go to a particular gutter and you realize that it's this restaurant and the effluence from the restaurant is what is going into the gutter. Are people being surcharged?
No, they are not. They get away with it.
And that's why people continue.
They get away with it.
That's why people continue. Anyway, so the Ghanaian Times, we have here, channel Hajj profits into charity. President directs task force. Government position on free SHS assuring. This is coming from Child Rights International. We have Galamsey fight. Time for workable solution, not blame game. Reverend Sapon is the one speaking there. NLA Director General appointed African Lotteries Association Vice President. And that's what we have for the front page. On the back page, we have the 77th anniversary of the Christian Ball Crossroads shooting held in Accra. And that was quite a colorful ceremony and a stark reminder of what happened in that time of our history. I have a number of photographer friends who were very much on the ground, taking lots and lots of pictures of that reenactment there. Book on history of Pungu and the Butu family launched, and those are the headlines we have on the back page of the Ghanaian Times.
Okay, let me take you to the news center by our friend Elvis Darko. Says Ajabin calls for passage of Corrupt Practices Act to combat corruption. It also says MTN Ghana records 5.03 billion cedis profit after tax for 2024. And then SONA debates minority rejects proposal for proportional representation. And then finally on the front page of the news center, Mr. Ashite Trebi Oleino, Deputy Head of Office under the Financial Integrity Office of the BOG, insists on real-time biometric verification for identity authentication. So that's still around the ID issues when you go to the bank. It is because when you get there, they are so busy with other things. They quickly want to photocopy, go and do, and then after office, before they go through all the ID stuff.
When somebody wants to steal from you, he's already stolen.
It's gone. Gone. It's amazing.
And the system is still not tight enough for people to be quickly picked up. For example, if somebody is using an ATM card at an ATM machine, let's say they left Accra 8 a.m. or let's say 9 a.m. from the bank, and they find themselves in, let's say, Sunyani, and they're using an ATM in Sunyani, can we locate them? Will we spot them?
Real time.
That they are in real time. That the person's ATM card has been flagged.
That reminds me, the cameras they set up across, Accra, for example, are they working?
As of now, we are not sure. There was a time when we knew they were working. We went into some of the, we saw footage from inside the traffic rooms. you know, but I don't know that if, as of now, those cameras are still active. I'm not sure.
I hope they are active, because that's also another way to really deal with security issues. So let's hope so. All right.
Anyway, so we have the daily guide here, and it says BOG warns banks over Ghana card photocopy. So for Akufu advocates extractive policy reform. We have minority boycott orientation for MPs. And CRI, that's Charles Rights International, applauds Mahama's PSHH stand. We have NLA boss appointed ALA vice president. And be disciplined, Akufu to graduates. And we have ERHC restraints Boafo Koto Osei. And those are the headlines we have on the front page of the Daily Guide.
Okay, I'll take you to the Herald by a very good friend, Larry. It has some interesting stories. Larry has been consistent with his Emirates managers. I mean, kudos. You know, sometimes we start the story as journalists, and then along the line we all back off or retreat or leave it because other stories come up. We never see through some important stories. So I like this from Larry. So, Larry, well done. We're waiting to see how this ends. NIB investigators close in on Emirates managers' abductors. But key suspect, Rashid Hassani, leaves country.
Wow.
It reminds me of the National Service lady.
I know, right?
Gifty. So that's the latest on that. Still with the Herald, Bank of Ghana's controversial $250 million headquarters faces parliamentary scrutiny as Governor Isiama carries Dr. Ernest Addison's cross on Wednesday. So the governor has been held to Parliament to answer questions on the cost surrounding the 20-story headquarters of the Bank of Ghana. So we'll see how that pans out.
20 stories, 4 buildings.
Yes. NLA boss made African Lotteries vice president, visits Cote d'Ivoire. Still with the Herald, national security halts Ghana Armed Forces Finance Unit retreat, cites resource constraints. Central Bank insists on mandatory biometric verification to eliminate banking sector fraud. And then some sad one, Asuma Banda Amadou Sule, dead and buried. May their souls rest in peace. Asuma Banda was one of the greatest entrepreneurs of our time.
He was a serial entrepreneur.
Yes, aviation, what do you call it? Imports, exports, a lot of key
parcel
sectors.
Delivery, all those things. He was in all those spaces.
Beautiful, beautiful soul, rest in peace. And that of Amadou Sule as well.
The Chronicle. We start off with this one. It says, justifying the use, it's a question, justifying the use of public funds to construct a Hajj village. Mahama petitioned to free Ato Asian. Minority opposes formula to debate SONA. And Ghana is being exploited, in quote, by extractive companies. Sophia Kufu is there being quoted. Psalm 25, verse 11 is the scripture for today. For your name's sake, O Lord, pardon my guilt, for it is great.
Okay. Yes.
For your name's sake, O Lord.
You should pardon all of us our guilt.
Amen.
I'll take you to the Ghanaian publisher. Anti-LGBTQ plus bill, no U-turn will be tolerated. This is coming from Reverend Intim Fojo to Mahama. That statement was made on ChannelOne Newsroom on Friday. May Ramadan strengthen our resolve for peace and unity. Kufuado there. And then also Bagman's hypocrisy exposed over MP's orientation. It has a picture of the Honorable Speaker Alban Bagman and the Honorable Frank Anot Dompré. So that's from the Ghanaian publisher.
Well, let me take you to the new publisher. And the new publisher says, shocking revelations from the National Film Authority. Male bosses forced me to hug another man. I felt very dirty. This is the former CEO, Juliet Asante, speaking out.
Yeah. Did you read the full piece?
I read the full article.
Very
yesterday.
chilling.
It was disgusting. I mean, her account was very graphic, and I felt I felt terrible. I was like, why should anybody go through this? You know, we hold ourselves as a certain kind of respectable society, but somehow it looks like in the shadows.
Wow. And these are things we all know as Ghanaians, and we sweep it under the carpet.
Yes.
The sexual harassment.
Yes.
I mean, some of the men, the annoying things you think is okay.
And they feel entitled to it.
Yeah, like, what do you mean?
They feel entitled to do that.
And the nerve to say that, go and hug. And the two, I mean, I don't even want to say things that would be very disrespectful. But these are some of the unacceptable, it's early in the morning, but to say nonsense that comes from some of the men in Ghana who think that it is culturally okay to have their way around women. Meanwhile, when they go outside, they dare do that. And those who try, they get into trouble.
Of course.
So please, it is not okay to want to touch a woman, to want to hug her, to want, and you know the annoying one, the patting on the back. And they don't pat the shoulder back. No, on the bra side. What do you mean? Come and try it. I mean, all those things are unacceptable. Let's respect ourselves. Let's be in our lane discipline. Stop these things.
Back in the day, Vivian, I heard of a certain bank that they enjoyed employing fresh graduates, 60-70% women.
Because of what they could do.
Because of the way they could get away with certain things. Yeah.
It's so wrong. And what do you call it? Corporate organizations and companies must be clear on these sexual harassment thing. You know, so sometimes we think it's nothing. You know, I don't know whether most men are not schooled enough, and I don't mean education, but as an exposed around these unacceptable things that women find problematic. You know, that they do these.
But I'm wondering why the society doesn't find it problematic.
Because the society doesn't respect women.
Because you see, what will happen, okay, is that, Vivian, you will find that if a young woman exposed to such horrible situations and acts would go and complain to an older woman, sometimes a certain number out of the lot of older women
I've experienced it,
but will instead of defending,
because they've been tuned to think it's okay, and like, oh yeah, you can, my friend, go and
it's like we all pass through,
suck it up, toughen up and suck it up.
It's so unacceptable.
Please, it's wrong. So the older women and the women who are in positions of power and influence, it is up to us to change these things. Of course, there are a few cases where people lie about these things, but investigate and make sure if the person did the wrong thing. That's the only way we can change society. I saw a video and I had DJ Mingle playing it on his show, I think 2 weeks ago. And there's this video of a mother and her daughter. Her daughter will be like 5-6 years. And she was teaching her appropriate and inappropriate touch. So let's say this and then she
if somebody touches you here, it's inappropriate.
That is, you know, and these are things we need to teach our children. So they know, and then they can confide in us when some bad man
behaves like that.
Old, especially the old men.
I
don't know. You've experienced the whole world. You've seen, and you still want to worry small girls, especially the old men. They should stop that.
I don't even know anyway. I mean, I guess we've
or whatever they call it. They should stop that. I mean, because most of them are men of influence, men of power. It's difficult to bring them. People are afraid that when you lose your job, they'll come after you. And sometimes it's even the women who will come after you for them. Can you imagine?
Yeah. It's like pimping of the young girls. It's so sad.
So Juliet Asante, we stand with you in solidarity over what happened. It is unacceptable for men to harass you because you were doing your job. So those of you who've gone on social media insulting her, shame on you. God is watching.
It's a disgrace for anybody to be insulting her for coming out to speak her truth. Anyway, minority abstains from orientation at luxury hotel to cut costs. Says it should be done in parliament. Hey, this is very rich from the minority.
People change, please.
People change,
That's what people are saying to that.
People change.
But Speaker is not happy. that they boycotted that orientation.
Anyway, Dr. Razak Opoku against building a Hajj village with government money. You know, it's amazing how times change. And anyway, like you said, people change.
Oh, they've not changed, yeah. They are just doing politics. They are just playing politics. When the dismissals, the revocations and dismissals, what the papers were saying, my guests were saying, they remember when the MPP also came into government and the same thing came and they were dismissing revocation. You know,
there was a lot of it.
Yeah, and there were instances where when they were questioned, they said, oh, all that from that, I will do it. They can't. It's the same thing. Now they are complaining, how rich. So we should, you know, the tables will always turn.
If you know that is something you don't want to happen to you,
don't do it.
Don't do it. Somebody has to stop it. Somebody has to break the cycle.
Yes.
If you don't stop it, you can't call for, you know, fairness. Fairness is
now
what?
You are crying. We need to do the same thing. So let's come together as a country and say that
this is how
during this period, okay, we will not allow, or we will allow, and we'll all go with it. Case closed.
Simple.
But we all do it as and when it suits us. This is what it's not to say what is being done is right, because the people who have been employed, they are Ghanaians like us. They've been unemployed. These are nurses, teachers, all sorts, bankers, wherever. We are in difficult times. Imagine you've gotten a job, thinking of yourself, because there's a new political dispensation. You are sacked. It's not funny at all. It's a difficult period, and people and these people. It took a long time for some of them
to get their clearance.
And all that. So it's a very sad and tricky one. But let's set the ground rules and then go with it as a country, so we avoid all these. Well, I mean, we should be growing politically. Let's stop these. Oh gosh, Charlie, we are even tired. The informer. Are you done with it?
Go ahead.
Interior Minister warns chiefs against using chieftaincy crest as number plates. Gives much deadline. I see that a lot, and I wonder. So that's an interesting one. And then OSP proposes reforms to curb corruption, and then LGBTQI+. I recognize only two genders. Mahama, it's a he or it's a she.
That's all.
Case closed. There's no he, she.
It's easy.
We, he, she, I, she. So those are from the informer.
Okay, so the custodian says minority boycotts MPs retreat, stop NDC's wasteful spending. MPs reject proportional representation on SONA debate. We have Parliament summons BOG governor over new headquarters. Ekufuado Baumia wish Muslims peaceful Ramadan. Ghana Italian Women Group partners to donate to Axem School. That's it for the custodian.
Okay, let me take you to today newspaper. They say UEWVC launches community initiative to empower youth. And then it says, thank you, Mr. President, for free tertiary education, Federation of Disability. Straight through All Blacks retracts and apologizes to Indu. And then, of course, Muntaka bans use of chieftaincy crest. Okay, so that's from the today.
My Daily Post says lawyers petition President Mahama for presidential pardon for ASEAN. Why are we still doing it like we are in the days of Gudgesburg? Sufo Ekufu on Ghana's extractive agreements, and agree with that 100%. Gabriel Tanko Kwamiga Atokle donates 100,000 to Edem Agbane's K2 North Scholar Initiative. That's it for the Daily Post.
You want to take us through the
online stories?
Online stories.
Okay, let's look at a few online stories, and we will wrap it up there. Let me just go there. Okay. So some online stories. We go to citynewsroom.com. Actually, let's go to channelOnenews.com first of all, and we have on channelOnenews.com National Economic Dialogue 2025 kicks off today. We have Mahama to clergy, speak up when things go wrong. All right, we have fire ravages, and this one's a very horrible one.
Very,
fire
very
ravages,
Netco, right?
Yeah, warehouse in Tamale.
Very troubling.
Yeah, and election 2024, I was asleep when Baumia called to congratulate me. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
But by then he knew he had won, innit? So Charlie, 4 years back, by then Charlie.
I'm telling you.
Yeah,
I'm telling you. Let's go to citynewsroom.com. National Economic Dialogue begins today. We have NSA to deduct 100 Ghana cedis from February allowance for service cloth. Okay, and T-bill rates free fall. How low can they go? Nete writes that. Okay, so there's lots of stories both on citynewsroom.com and channel1news.com. Vivian, thank you.
Thank you too. Yeah. Have a lovely week.
You too.
And happy Heritage Month.
Yes, happy Heritage Month to you.
Rocking the within, right?
We came.
Okay. Whilst you are buying the cloth, remember to buy some for your sisters. Us.
Wow.
You can't go and buy, is it 2 years?
Wow.
When the thing is 6 years, and they leave the 4 years there at the shop.
Wow.
Buy 6 years. You give us 2 or 3
wow.
or 8 years. That's how you do it.
Hey.
I'm teaching you how it's done. You give me 3 years. You give Chris 3 years.
Okay.
Then you take 2 years.
And
don't go and buy
what
2
about
years.
Jifa?
Well, you give Jifa 3. So you are looking at 10 years.
All right, guys. Sports is next.